Come with me to meet the witch doctor.
If you remember in the last video, this is where we left off. The cracks in her back, I applied some xylene and some paste and lifted her back so it arched and all the cracks closed. And now in the next video, we're going to resume where the uh, cracks are all closed up. They've had time to dry, and we're going to continue to smooth them and do a little bit more work.
Now I'm going to add a little more heat. I already know that I'm going to have to smooth this out. I mean, that's pretty much a given. I don't want to set the TPE on fire. But I do want to make it warm.
So I don't know if you can tell from the video, but the cracks are quite lumpy. And in this part, I'm going to start smoothing them out with my iron and heating them as well. You know, it would be nice if the TPE went perfectly back together, but um, in some cases, like huge cracks like this, it goes back. It's still kind of misaligned. It's very difficult to get it back perfectly. A small cut yeah, you can get away with probably not even bothering to smooth it. But large cracks like this, especially where a little bit of TPE paste was used to fill some gaps and voids, you're going to need to smooth it out. This particular iron, I believe I picked it up on AliExpress, if I'm not mistaken. So here I'm still adding a little bit of xylene to areas that may have opened up, or areas I missed. It was a lot of cracks. The majority of them at this point are closed up. The chemical did its job and adhered everything together. I'm going to apply some more heat with the heat gun, and I'm setting my iron up. There will be one more session where I do some more smoothing in the next video, but that'll be the final. So with her back in this condition, I really can't do a lot, but I'm going to try and lessen some of these lumps. And then in the next video, I'll come back and do a final smoothing. You really want to heat this till it begins to get shiny. You don't want to scorch it because it'll discolor, but you do want to get it hot enough where it's going to help the iron. The TPE will liquefy that much easier once the iron touches it. And of course, a little bit of mineral oil, a drop or two, wouldn't hurt it either. And as always, you really don't want to press too hard. It's better to just take your time with that iron and basically use a feather touch, barely touching the surface. Use your eyes to see, what you're doing. Keep an eye on it. Because once you start putting extra marks in there with the iron, you're just creating more work that has to be fixed. Now, it does take a lot to get this perfectly smooth. And as of yet, I have not been able to get the TPE so smooth that it looks as if it came out of the mold that it was made in. I mean, I guess if you, depending on what type of person you are, if you want to work on it that much to try and perfect it to the point where it's going to look almost the way it did before it was damaged, it's certainly possible. I know that TPE is very stress prone, and you know, you could buy the most expensive doll on the market, and if it's made out of TPE, it will crack. Some sooner than others, but it does happen. So the way I look at it, I'm going to repair this to the point where it makes me happy. I'm happy with it, and then that'll be good enough because I know it's just going to crack again. Not necessarily this area that I'm working on, but there's going to be other parts. They're coming out with a newer TPE. It's called STPE. The S stands for soft. So it's a little softer, but it's also very dense. Um, and therefore it will be a little more resilient, a little less prone to cracking, but it's still going to crack because it's still TPE. Um, it's just slightly better than regular TPE, and it is an upgrade. And on the dolls I've seen currently, it is more money to get the STPE version. Which I think is averages around $300 more per doll. But it can be repaired similarly to TPE. It's less oily, so it requires less oiling than these dolls do, regular TPE. As you can see, it's beginning to look better already. But even at the end of this video, there'll still be more smoothing to do. This iron I'm using is it's actually called a leather iron. Now, how it's used with leather, I'm not really sure. But the way it's made, it's perfect for what I'm using it for. So that looks pretty good right there. On the next session, I'll be able to straighten her back out, which will give me a little more access with the iron. As it is right now, I don't want to gouge the TPE. Like I said, you'll just be creating more work. You really need to take your time, focus on the iron and the area you're working on. And when it does dry, it will dry a little shiny, but you can knock that down with some baby powder. And then lastly, I think I'm going to have to, she's missing a toe. I'm going to have to see if I can find it. Or maybe I may have to make one.
All right, so I guess it's hard to see. We'll come back when I can straighten her back out, and then we'll smooth that out a little bit more. We'll have to put a little more heat into it. And we'll have to finish the arms too. So I think I'll do next. We'll heat this up again. I'll smooth it out, and then I'll finish off the cracks in the arms, which are hard to see because of the lighting. But yeah, got a little bit more to do here. Right now there's too much of an arch. I'll just end up gouging something, and then I'll get pissed off and start cursing. All right, that's all for now, and I'll see you guys again later.